Relationships. Nothing takes up quite as much time and space in our lives as relationships. Yet many of us are still stuck in unhealthy dynamics and patterns, causing us so much pain and unhappiness. In this video, I will tell you my story of how I went from deeply painful relationships to attracting a man who deeply loves me, deeply cares for me, and respects me. And I will share the exact method of how I healed my relationship patterns. In my life, I have been stuck in one specific really unhealthy relationship. And I learned a lot from this relationship. And today I am in a super healthy relationship, a relationship with a man who supports me unconditionally, who loves me unconditionally even when I'm not in my power, who provides for me, who has just been such a strong rock in my life. And when I look back on this toxic relationship and then look at this relationship, I'm just like, wow, I healed and this is the result. So we don't have to be stuck in these unhealthy relationship dynamics. And I work with a lot of women and I notice it again and again that many women are stuck in these patterns. And so what I want to share today with you in this video in nature, which is my fucking favorite place ever, is what can you do to attract a healthy relationship? Like, how can you get rid of these unhealthy relationship patterns? And to understand that, we must understand our nervous system, because when we grow up in an uncertain, chaotic, emotionally unstable and unsafe environment, then all of that is imprinted in your nervous system. And for your whole being, love means drama, means fighting, means stress, means fight or flight. And so if we want to attract healthy relationships, then we do have to look at these patterns and we do have to reprogram our nervous system so we can accept healthy love. Because that's the thing, like, even if we would attract a healthy partner, our nervous system would reject it and we would literally not want that person, because that safety feels so unfamiliar and so unknown that we don't want it. And so for me, one of the most important things on this healing journey was to understand that every relationship in my life is a mirror of myself, and everything that I meet in another person is a wound or something rejected within myself. And so once we stop blaming the world and the people in our lives for us feeling miserable, we can actually start to integrate these wounds and to have a deep look at ourselves and be like, oh, wait a second, that is actually something in myself that I have disowned, rejected, repressed, because maybe in childhood that was a trait that wasn't welcomed. So have a close look at your relationships in your life right now. And with that, I don't only mean romantic, although romantic relationships are the biggest mirrors, because in romantic relationships, all our stuff comes out. Like, literally, there's usually nothing you can hide, which is why especially romantic relationships can get very ugly and they can get very stressful and fighting and all these things and like being just ugly with each other. And it's all about like against each other. It's a zero-sum game rather than we are a team against the problem. And that is one of the biggest things I am experiencing in my relationship right now, is that I experience we are a team. It's not him against myself. It's not I need to be right. It's not any of that. It is literally like, okay, here's a trigger. Let's look at it. What is my part in this? And he looks at what his part in it is. We talk about it. We go through it. And boom, problem solved. Nothing has to get ugly. Nothing has to get personal. Nothing has to get super hurtful. And it's just beautiful to experience that. And once you are experiencing something like this, you will discover a completely new part of yourself. A part of yourself that can only come out if you feel emotionally safe, if you feel like you experiencing a safe space to express yourself, to share deep truths of yourself, to share things that you haven't shared with anyone yet in your life, and where you just feel safe to like express all these things. And when that happened to me, I could feel a part of myself coming back home. It was like something of my feminine essence that for the first time felt held, not only safe, but held by the masculine for the first time in my life. Like, my dad unfortunately did not a good job in doing that, and most women have that problem, right? Like that our fathers have been absent or emotionally unavailable or narcissists. And that's what we attract later on in life, unless we take matters into our own hands and we reprogram our nervous system, we heal our inner child, we heal our inner teenager, we heal all these things, and then we can actually attract a healthy relationship. And I am the best example for that. So it's not a fairy tale. It does actually exist. And again, I see it all around me that I give emotional support. They are struggling with unhealthy relationship dynamics, and they run into the same patterns over and over and over again because they're not fully capable yet of honestly taking a really deep look at yourself, because it can be very hurtful, right? It can be very scary to look at these parts within yourself and be like, oh shit, that's there. That's maybe not that great, you know? And we take it often personally. We're like, oh, there's a shadow, so I must be a bad person, which is not true. Like, the more you discover about yourself, the more you get to know each other, the more unconditional love you have for yourself as well, and for your wounds. And the sun is out. So the question now naturally arises, okay, and how do I actually heal my nervous system? So as I said before, like when we go through all these things in childhood, all of that is stored within our body. So in order to reprogram our body and our nervous system, we have to hold space for these emotions, and we have to actually allow them to express themselves, because that what is attracting unhealthy relationships right now within you is something that has not been felt. Like, these are wounds that have not been felt. They did not have the space to be expressed, because as children we have rejected these parts of ourselves and this pain in order to survive, right? Like, in order to stay in that household of our parents, of our family, which as children we don't have any other chance. Like, we have to stay there. So we cannot run away, because we're literally dependent on our caregivers. So we cannot just walk away from it, right? So these coping mechanisms kick in, and we repress these parts of ourselves. And so what we have to do is we have to experience these things. So the way that I do it with clients, that I do it with myself, is that I look at my life and I look at my relationships, and I ask myself, where are there triggers in the relationship? Where are things that trigger me emotionally, where it just, you get angry, you get sad, you get anything? What is your trigger? And once you have a situation in mind from your current relationship, you sit with it and you're gonna ask yourself, where do I feel that in my body? And you scan your body and you see, do you feel it in your heart? Do you feel any tightness? Do you feel anything in your womb? Do you feel anything in your shoulders? Do you feel tightness in your chest? Like, what is it? Or in your throat, also very possible. And so what is it that you feel in your body that is connected to that situation when you bring it up in front of your mind's eye, right? And what you do then is you will ask yourself, okay, when have I experienced that in my childhood? When have I experienced this feeling before? And sit with that question. And sometimes it takes a little while, sometimes it takes several sessions, like whatever, but sit with that question. When have I, for the first time, felt this emotion that I'm feeling in my body right now, experienced in my childhood? And then allow memories to come up, allow images to come up, allow situations to come up. And sometimes it's many situations, sometimes it's just one specific one, and I encourage you to choose one specific one because it's easier to work through it. So you choose that one situation, that one memory that comes up that you associate with this emotion, and then you replay it. What happens in that situation? Who is there? Is it your father? Is it your mother? Is it any other family member? Is it your brother, sister, teacher, whoever? And allow this emotion that you were not able to feel back then because you most likely have suppressed it. This is why it's bubbling up in relationships, right? Because you have suppressed it. So give that emotion space. Let it move through your body and then express it. Like, give it the space to express itself. And And what that can be very different for everyone, right? For me personally, it always looks like I'm usually yelling, I'm usually screaming, I'm usually crying, deeply crying, and I allow myself to fully go there. Like I allow myself and I hold space for myself while I'm going through the emotion. And it can be easier to do that with someone. Like I had to do it mostly by myself. However, it is easier to do it with someone, of course, if you have someone you trust enough, or if you have a mentor or something like that who can guide you through that. That's amazing, right? But even that mentor, like that mentor will not be able to go or to take that from you. Like you still have to experience it yourself. You still have to hold that emotion, or hold the space for yourself, which is so crucial, because we learn that we can hold emotions, like we can hold the space for expressing these emotions, and we can love ourselves through it. And that has been such a big part of also my self-love journey, you know, because when we suppress all these things, then we are denying parts of ourselves that are very valid. You know, these parts of ourselves, or rejecting these parts, has kept us safe. That all was not to do you any harm, it was to protect you. And once you can understand that and allow these things, it becomes a very profound self-love journey, and it is very beautiful to experience that you can trust yourself, that you can hold yourself in all of it, you know. And it makes you less dependent on other people, which I'm not saying it's not good to be dependent on other people, but it's good to be interdependent, not being codependent. These are two very different things. If we're codependent, it's we need someone else, and it comes this like, I need you, you know, to help me. And interdependence is, I know I can hold myself, I love myself, and I love being with you, but I do not need you from that place of like, oh, I'm dying when I'm not with you kind of thing. And so backtracking a little bit. So you are going through that memory and you allow the emotions to come up. And it's important to let it move through your body. And again, do it through movement, like what I really, and I say probably in many videos, but I move with it. Like I move my whole body, I move my shoulders, I do weird ass movements, you know, but your body knows. Like it's so important to trust your body in this. Do what, like surrender to your body and you'll be fine. Just surrender to anything that comes out of this. And then an extra step can be that in the situation that you have in your mind from your childhood, that you invite someone into that memory who you trust. This can be also a family member, or it can also be yourself. You can invite yourself into the memory and then alter the memory in a way that it feels good for you. So for example, if a memory comes up where you have been beaten up by your dad. I did have memories like that come up, that's why it comes to my mind. And so what I did was I invited into that memory, after I felt all the pain, I invited my older self into the memory. And she came in and she held my dad's hand and she was like, enough. And he disappeared and I walked to my inner child that was hurt on the floor and I picked her up and I held her. And I told her, you are safe, you are loved, you are safe, you are loved unconditionally. And I cried some more, of course. And it was very beautiful to be held by my older self, by that part of myself. And on the other side, also, it was very beautiful from the perspective of my older self to hold space for that inner child. And I had so much love and compassion for this little child. I'm like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, you're so cute, I love you so much, you know. It's like, also a big self-love thing, you know, on your self-love journey. And so this way everything just dissolved and like my inner child could relax. And when I visualized this in my mind, my body relaxed. So I released the emotions from my body, and then you basically reprogram your body with relaxation. You're relaxing into the feeling of being held. And it also doesn't have to be your older self. It can be Mother Earth. It can be a spirit guide. It can be literally anyone, anything that you feel safe with. And you relax your whole nervous system and you take deep breaths and you're just like enveloped in this warm blanket of safety. And this is how you reprogram your nervous system. You first release through your body, so it's no longer stored within you and it has the room to express itself. And then you overwrite that emotion with relaxation, with softness, with safety, with a deep breath, you know. And that is how you teach your nervous system to get out of fight or flight. Because what you do by releasing these emotions, you're releasing the fight or flight energy that is stuck within your body. And yeah, you're overwriting it with relaxation, with rest and digest state, basically. And this is how you reprogram your nervous system. This is basically the formula of how you can heal all kinds of wounds. Like, this is literally something I did for 3 years all the freaking time. I did so much shadow work, which is why I'm doing the work I'm doing now. I'm guiding women on that kind of journey. And I also, if you're interested, there's a course in the description about the voice-womb connection. It's about the feminine expression. It's about connecting to your voice, because if your voice is suppressed, your whole expression is suppressed. And I do shadow work in there. I do guided meditations there. Yada, yada, yada. If that's calling you, check it out. And so yeah, this is just how we can reprogram our whole selves. And this is literally how I went from a super toxic narcissistic relationship to now the complete opposite, to a level that I never thought I would ever experience in my life. I literally never thought that I would experience a healthy relationship, as sad as that sounds, but many women are actually there in that situation. So I see you, girl. I fucking see you. And I've gone through that stuff: emotional abuse, verbal abuse, this feeling of you're going crazy in your mind and you're just like, what is happening? And again, like, I've been there and I never thought it would be possible, but like, I am literally the living example that it is freaking possible. Like, you deserve healthy love. You deserve to have a partner who sees you, who listens to you, who cares for you, who's devoted to you, who's committed to you. Like, literally, my partner is like, he is so devoted to the feminine, it is insane. It's literally like being a queen, but not in like he's a servant kind of way. No. It's like, it's this beautiful divine union of the masculine and the feminine, and he provides a safe space, emotionally safe. He provides, and I in return can open and surrender to my feminine essence. I can soften. My God, like, I had to be so strong for so long that when he came along and held that space for the first time, my whole body was like, what is happening? And I could just like relax, and someone's taking care of me, and like, I can take care of myself, I know now. But it is so special to experience someone else taking care of you, especially for women. Men, again, they are the providers, so it is amazing for them. Like, it fulfills them to provide for the feminine, and it fulfills the feminine to receive. It's literally, men are givers, women are receivers, even biologically. Like, if you think about it, men gives and woman takes in, she receives. And when we receive that, then we just become so soft and beautiful, and still fierce and strong. Yeah, we have like so many paradoxes within ourselves, but it is just so such a beautiful state to be in as a woman. And so all of this healing was so worth it. Like, all of this healing was so worth all the pain that I went through, and all this learning about myself, and all this reprogramming, and going through my pain and releasing it from my body, and like reprogramming it and all that kind of stuff. And then again, when my partner came along, it was just beautiful, and he taught me so many things. Like, it was a whole nother level of healing in communion with someone else, which that is a whole experience in itself. So anyway, my love, this was a long ramble, and I hope this was helpful to you. I hope that this could give you some insight on your own journey. And if you're interested in working with me or in checking out my course, you will find everything down below. Also, most likely in this video you found music from myself in the background of this video. If you want to check that out, you find my second channel also down below. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I send you so much love, and I see you in the next one.